Good morning, everybody. Here's our assembly story for Friday, the 6th of June, and today I'm going to share a story with you called The Promise. Here's the front cover, The Promise by Nicola Davis, illustrated by Laura Carlin. Have a little look at that picture. It'll give you a clue what this story is going to be all about. What kind of place do you think this is? What does it make you think of? Is this a place that you would like to visit? When I was young, I lived in a city that was mean and hard and ugly. Its streets were dry as dust, cracked by heat and cold, and never blessed with rain. A gritty yellow wind blew constantly, scratching round the buildings like a hungry dog. Nothing grew. Everything was broken. No one ever smiled. Doesn't look like a very nice place, does it? The people had grown as mean and hard and ugly as their city, and I was mean and hard and ugly too. I lived by stealing from those who had almost as little as I did. My heart was as shriveled as the dead trees in the park. And then, one night, I met an old lady down a dark street. She was frail and alone, an easy victim. Her bag was fat and full, but when I tried to snatch it from her, she held on with the strength of heroes. To and fro we pulled that bag until at last she said, "If you promise to plant them, I'll let go." What did she mean? I didn't know or care. I just wanted the bag, so I said, "All right, I promise." She loosened her grip at once and smiled at me. And look, we can see the silhouettes of what's happening. I ran off without a backward look, thinking of the food and money in her bag. But when I opened it, there were only acorns. I stared at them, so green, so perfect, and so many, and understood the promise I had made. I held a forest in my arms, and my heart was changed. And have you noticed something about her clothes? Her clothes suddenly have changed. We have a little bit of colour. I forgot the food and money, and for the first time in my life I felt lucky, rich beyond my wildest dreams. I slept with the acorns for my pillow, my head full of leafy visions, and in the morning I began to keep my promise. Suddenly we've got a little bit of colour appearing in the pictures. I planted beside roads, on roundabouts. Look how busy that roundabout is. Among rubble, ruins and rusty railings, by train tracks, tram lines and traffic lights. In abandoned parks and gardens laced with broken glass, behind factories and shopping malls, at bus stops, cafes, blocks of flats. I pushed aside the mean and hard and ugly, and I planted. And can you see? There she is at the bottom of the picture doing some of her planting, and we can see a trail of little holes where she's been planting the acorns. I wonder if you know what acorns grow into. We're going to find out. Nothing changed at first. The gritty wind still scratched the parched, cracked streets. The people scowled and scuttled to their homes like cockroaches. But slowly, shoots of green began to grow. And we can just see some here in this picture. First here and there, then everywhere. People came onto the streets to see. They touched the leaves in wonder and they smiled. They took tea together by the tiny trees. They talked and laughed. And look, the people are more colourful. And pretty soon they were planting too, trees and flowers, fruit and vegetables, in parks and gardens, on balconies and rooftops. Green spread through the city like a song, breathing to the sky, drawing down the rain like a blessing. Look at all of those birds now, in the trees. But by then I was already far away, planting in another sad and sorry city. So on the left you can see what she's left behind, all of those plants and trees and flowers and the colour and the lovely environment. And going forward she's still got colour, but look at the kind of place that she's going to. Graffiti on the walls, lots of high-rise buildings, it's all grey and dark with no colour. And then she went on to another, and can you see, everywhere she's been there's colour, and everywhere she's going is dark and grey. And another. And another. And last night, in a lonely alley, a young thief fought me for my sack of acorns. I smiled and made the old bargain, knowing how a heart can change, knowing that my planting will go on. And look at that. That's what it's turned into. Lots of colour, lots of plants, and animals and insects hiding in there too. So that's the end of our assembly story. And I want you to think about what a difference it makes to have plants and grass and flowers and birds and animals around us, because we are really lucky here at school and in Winsford. We have got, in our school grounds, we've got so many trees. We have our wildlife area. We've got flowers and plants at the front, and we've got lots of green and beautiful green grass. And how does that make us feel? And if we didn't have any of that and we just had a tarmac playground with no green, how would that make us feel? So we need to look after our school grounds and we need to look after our gardens. I hope you enjoyed our story today.